Hey gang, Katrina here. So if you follow me or my work at all, you know that I am a huge proponent of dancer wellness. It's something that I always talk about. And yet the term dancer wellness, I feel like is one of those terms that can feel a little vague and it sounds really good, but we might not all be in agreement about what exactly it is. So I wanted to talk about that today. And I wanted to specifically talk about this post here that you see on my screen. This is a post that I did, which got a huge response, which thank you very much. If you were somebody who found this post and found it helpful, I'm so glad and thank you for interacting with it. But I wanted to talk specifically about this post because it seemed to resonate with so many of you. And it's that iceberg metaphor that I'm sure we've all heard, right? Like when you see an iceberg, it's this big kind of beautiful, massive thing, but there's so much happening underneath the surface that we can't even see. And it's a great metaphor for lots of things in life, including this concept of dancer wellness. So at the surface here, you'll see there are things that we've all heard about, right? There's all things that we know about that we might consider dancer wellness. So these are things like nutrition, staying positive, things like stretching or strength training, and even those kind of simple things like Epsom salt baths or foam rollers, like those very kind of mainstream typical things that we associate with taking care of ourselves and our bodies. So underneath that, though, you'll see there's a whole plethora of other things that contribute to dancer wellness. And if we're not considering these other elements, we're not really getting the full picture. We're not really tackling the concept of dancer wellness as fully as we could be. And this is by no means a comprehensive list either. This is just a few things that I could fit on this graphic. But there are things like open-mindedness, right? Like being open-minded to new teachings, to things like dancer wellness, to trying new things, respecting your body, not putting yourself down, not putting other bodies down that might look different from our normal kind of aesthetic in dance. Growth mindset, that's a huge one. So positivity is one thing, right? Like we've got this surface level positivity, but growth mindset is such a more deep and broad subject that really helps all of these other elements of dancer wellness work together. So growth mindset is things like, reframing your thoughts, which ties into open-mindedness, right? So knowing that, no, you may have had a really bad technique day, your turns may be off, but you're not there yet, right? It's growth mindset, I like to say, is that possibility of yet. You're not there yet. You don't have the turns yet, but you will have it. So not just shutting yourself down and letting that inner critic that we all have kind of run wild, but indulging in that possibility of yet and how that opens up our head space and our heart space and lets us believe in our own progress as opposed to shutting ourselves and our abilities and our talent down. Things like self-reflection. This could be journaling. This could be meditating, having these types of conversations with fellow dancers or your mentors. And, at the end of your dance classes or your performances, taking time to absorb what the things that you learned are. That's a huge part of growth, right? And thriving in any career, but especially in dance, because we're always learning, we're always hoping to get better. Nurturing other interests. It's so important that we be multi-dimensional, right? That we have other interests, other hobbies that we can step away from dance from and still feel nurtured and still feel like we're ourselves. It helps us to get to know ourselves better as well when we kind of spread our interests out, right? When we don't just focus on the one thing. We're multi-dimensional people, and we should encourage our students and dancers to pursue other interests as well. Not obsessing over food or scales, right? This is a big one and kind of goes into the body positivity category that I have over here. As we all know, dance is so aesthetic based, and recently Catherine Morgan came out and shared her experiences and stories about her decision to leave Miami City Ballet, and how it just reminded me that the dance industry still has so much work to do in this area, and things like body shaming and food shaming and diets, all of that stuff is still alive and well in the dance community. So tipping the scale in the other direction, teaching our dancers how to not obsess over food or scales, but instead how to really tune into their own bodies, to use food for fuel and for energy to help their performance, which goes along with injury prevention, which is a whole nother aspect of dancer wellness that didn't make this list, but is absolutely a part of it. Things like self-kindness, right? Being kind to yourself when you have an off day, which ties into growth mindset. Rest and sleep, so important. Dance culture loves an overachiever, but there's a point where overachieving goes into injury and rundown and overwhelm and just burnout, which we don't want for our dancers, right? If we want to give them a long, sustainable, healthy career. So shifting the narrative around taking time to rest, taking time to sleep is so important to dancer wellness. Things like mindfulness and gratitude, these are huge. Everything from just, doing a simple body scan to tune into the sensations that your body is feeling, to making gratitude lists about your body, all of the things that your body does for you that we don't even think about, right? Those are important things to teach our dancers, important things to incorporate into our normal dance routines and classes, so that we are addressing this big picture of dancer wellness. Learning to trust ourselves, right? And then healthy boundaries. This is a really important one that I was especially thinking of as Catherine Morgan was sharing her stories. Knowing when to say no and how to stand up for yourself and say, no, that's not okay. It's not okay that you're asking me to do these things. My health, my mental, emotional well-being come first. Before any job, before any audition, before any role, we have to take care of ourselves first. So yeah, that's kind of the big picture of dancer wellness here. And as I said, this is not a comprehensive list at all, but I got such a positive response from this graphic that I wanted to share and talk about it a little bit more in depth here. So if you are interested in dancer wellness, if you know that all of these things are so important, but you're not quite sure where to start or how to bring them into your classes, I want you to go check out Studio Zen, which is a new monthly membership program that I'm offering. So every month we tackle a different element of dancer wellness. One month might be growth mindset. Another month might be talking about sleep and rest, and we might do something on body positivity. Every month you get a new bundle of resources on a topic like this about dancer wellness, and I show you exactly how to implement them in your classes. So there's video trainings, there are worksheets you can use with your dancers. We also have occasional guest speakers and guest experts who lend their knowledge and inspiration to keep us motivated, keep us going. And that's something that I hear a lot from dance teachers, is they know that these things are so important, they're just not quite sure where to start. So if you're looking to start, Studio Zen is a great place to start this journey. And if you have any other questions, please always feel free to reach out. This stuff is my jam. I love talking about it, as you can tell. So I'm always happy to chat with you more. So there you go. That's Dancer Wellness. Hope it helps, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.